Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Mi, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. In today's video, we're going to talk about the consequences of Luffy's battle in Wano. Currently in the Wano arc, we've had several incredible events that many believed impossible, such as the fall of two Yonkos. With the defeat of Kaido, Luffy will gain immense fame, and having managed to defeat the pirate with the highest bounty alive, it may very likely give him the title of Yonko. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the consequences that defeating Kaido may have for Luffy in the future, especially during his journey to become king of the pirates, and how the world will regard the fame of the pirate with the straw hat. But before we get into that, if you're new to the channel, we'd be absolutely honored if you consider giving us a like, or even subscribing with a comment letting us know what you thought of the video. It really helps us out, and if you'd like to help us out in an even larger way, consider sharing the video or the channel with a friend. But without further ado, let's get into this video. So friends, the four emperors are the four most powerful pirate captains in the world, and through their actions and deeds, they've achieved this great fame. After the former pirate king Goldie Roger lost his life, these four pirates rose up to become the four who would be the closest to conquering the great treasure desired by the whole world. These individuals are not allies, and neither are they enemies. They just follow their goals without trying to interfere in the goals of another Yonko. But when these same goals cross, a great conflict can occur between them. These four also have some of the greatest influence of the world, probably second only to the Marines in the world government. And it's for this reason that they are respected by many pirates and even by some Marines. Currently, Luffy is unofficially known as the Fifth Emperor because of his great deeds and all of the things he's done throughout the world. Now again, this isn't official. After all, it's only possible to have four Yonkos, but everyone considers that he could conquer this Yonko title very soon. Luffy only became known as the Fifth Yonko because of Cavendish and Bartolomeo, who informed the journalists of the 5,000 members of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. So the journalists considered the possibility that in the future, Luffy would continue gaining power and could become the most powerful yet. Throughout the Wano arc, we've seen many different unexpected events occur, such as Big Mom and Kaido teaming up to get the One Piece, and even a kind of a merger between the three pirate crews of the worst generation, being Law, Kid, and Luffy. In the greatest confrontation of the overall arc, we saw Law and Kid take on Big Mom, and they were able to defeat her, demonstrating that their powers were from awakened devil fruits. And with this awakening, they were able to defeat Big Mom, knocking her down from a great height and possibly brought her ultimate end. Of course, we don't know if either pirate of the worst generation will get the title of Yonko, because they kind of had to tag team in order to take out Big Mom. And of course, since there can only be four, unless they change the rules, it could be Law or Kid to become the new Yonko in the place of Big Mom. While Law and Kid were taking on Big Mom, of course, Luffy and Kaido were giving it their all to take the other down. Now, we saw that Kaido ended up at the one in the end who had the disadvantage, and although he was powerful, he'd finally been worn down enough where Luffy was able to knock him to the ground. So as this fight kept on going, we saw the scales slowly but surely tip in the direction of Luffy. And finally, it seems, of course, we need the confirmation in chapter 1050, that Luffy has indeed destroyed and brought down Kaido. Now, because he took down Kaido alone at the end, we also have to acknowledge that there were many who had taken their licks at him as well. It may be because that Luffy kind of soloed him at the end that gives him that power, and therefore may earn him the title of Yonko. But it's not just defeating a Yonko that a character will get the title. There are some other requirements that are necessary for the pirate to be recognized as a Yonko by the whole world. So Luffy's gonna have to step up to meet these requirements as well. Yonko are not only known for their individual strength. Even if they have a lot of power, it doesn't just automatically make someone a Yonko. They need to have a crew and several powerful pirates at their command, and maybe even have some islands and territories that are under their protection. These particular requirements aren't necessarily stated anywhere, but everything indicates that it's necessary to have something beyond just power and the ability to defeat a Yonko to get that title. Because as we saw Teach, even when he took Whitebeard's life, he initially was not given the title or recognized as a Yonko. It was only after Teach went after Whitebeard's former crew members and managed to defeat them, as well as getting some of the islands that were considered the Whitebeard's kind of territory and occupying it, that he was then made officially a Yonko by the world government. So it is the combination of strength and influence that are very important for the world to recognize a pirate as an emperor, and no pirate dares to face them directly. And there are specific cases like the one we're currently seeing of Law, Luffy, and Kid trying to face them to get the title. But this is really something unique and nothing that's ever happened. Law in fact said as much when he said that in the New World, most most pirates ally themselves with the Yonko in order to just survive that area of the world. This action taken by these three pirates is considered something impossible for other pirates, because they all know that facing a Yonko is pretty much certain death, and not even a Marine dares to do this, or even an Admiral, because they would pretty much get taken out, and they would be able to just not only invoke the wrath of the Yonko, but may even pull the world into a larger battle. After their strength and of course their influence, we can't also forget the fact that most of the Yonkos also possess some very devastating abilities and really stem from their devil fruits that really can seem to be something that they have a lot of control and great mastery over. In addition to that, most of them have immense physical strength, endurance, and durability, and are also very skilled at the use of haki, showing that they are the worthy people of this title. And their strength is even greater than that of a Marine Admiral, something that is incredible since Admirals are considered to be the greatest power the Marines have. The individual bounties of the Yonkos are also some of the highest in the world, the lowest being just over 2 billion and the highest over 5 billion. Now, Kaido is the one living Yonko with the highest reward, but this may be just a short time longer. After all, since Luffy's managed to defeat him, he may also get that huge bump in his own bounty. The only known pirate who has ever had a bigger bounty than any of them, of course, was the former Pirate King Goldie Roger himself. And for being the Pirate King, he obviously had the bounty that would become the biggest in the world because he had attained something that no other person had ever done. Of course, he'd made it to that last island and conquered the One Piece. But it is a fact that his reward and his bounty could be finally surpassed by another should they accomplish certain goals. Before the Yonko system ever existed, the three of the original four Yonko, like Whitebeard, Kaido, and Big Mom, were of course former members of the legendary Rocks pirate crew, who were considered the strongest pirate crew in the world of that time. In the wake of this crew was great destruction and worldwide terror, and it took the alliance of Garp and Roger to take their captain's life away finally. But each of the other members of the crew followed their journey to achieve their own personal goals, with then three of them managing to be recognized worldwide as Yonko. We also saw during a Marine meeting that an alliance between two Yonko could lead to the formation of the strongest pirate crew ever recorded in history, and that the collective reward of the captains of such an organization would be far greater than that of the Pirate King himself. This is something that actually happened during the Wano arc, but maybe we didn't have enough time to see the ramification of the Kaido Big Mom alliance. But with the alliance between Law and Luffy and Kid's crew, of course along with all of the samurai of Wano, they were able to end this Big Mom Kaido alliance before it could really ever take off. And finally, this is something that we've looked forward to for really quite a long time in the manga. Discussing a couple other Yonko that we have had seen, of course we have Whitebeard, that even at his old age was considered the strongest man in the world. Now, he still, even in his ailing state, had an enormous amount of physical strength, being so physically strong that he could stop a Marine ship with just one hand. And this is, again, after having very poor health and kind of on his way out. Despite his health and his advanced age, we also saw some great resistance to pain, and before losing his life and being hit by Kizaru and Akainu's attacks, he was still able to stand and really never fell even after losing his life. And in fairness, even though Kaido took a lot of hits in these attacks in Wano, I don't know if this really compares to the amount of hits that Whitebeard took while he was in the Battle of Marineford. Now, of course, Kaido's still apparently younger than him, and he's still in his prime, unlike Whitebeard, who had an illness that was really kind of wearing down his life. But all that, we gotta still give props to the old man. Rounding out our discussion on the roster of the original four Yonko, we also have Shanks, who of course is a former member of our Pirate King Roger's crew, and was very much inspired by his captain. Of course, his fighting style is based on swords, and the use of advanced haki to be able to defeat his opponents, without really the need to possess any devil fruit. Shanks is so strong, in fact, that his presence alone was enough to convince countless elite Marine officers to give up rather than risk angering him, showing that Shanks is respected by many, even though he doesn't really need to demonstrate his full power. Because he is the youngest Yonko of the old generation, he was able to directly confront the other Yonko, and since he'd already kinda gotten in combat with Whitebeard, Kaido and even Big Mom show that they are really willing to respect and wouldn't want to take him on just by himself. We also can't forget Big Mom, who is also known as Charlotte Linlin, and just her immense size and physical strength, and the fact that she has her Soul Devil Fruit, and amazingly, unbelievable, really, destructive power. We've seen her destroy entire cities, sink huge battleships with her bare hands, and and it really seems like unless she's in a kind of a distress situation, her body's pretty much indestructible. Now, we've seen her of course get hurt when she does go into an emotional crisis, and her voice is able to incapacitate extremely powerful fighters such as Katakuri and even Smoothie. But the most recent addition to the Yonko roster of course was Teach, and he got this after taking Whitebeard's life and managing to take on all of his, or at least most of his, other territories. Teach also possesses 2 different devil fruit, one of which is able to absorb everything around him using his darkness, as well as cancel out the abilities of any devil fruit user that he touches. So with this, on top of the fact that he now possesses Whitebeard's Quake fruit, makes him a very formidable force. Now, aside from the physical and the devil fruit powers, let's also not forget the fact that Teach has shown himself to be very intelligent and more than willing to play the long game. Just consider how long he was waiting on Whitebeard's crew until the right devil fruit showed up. So as our story moves forward, we're gonna have to see how the world and the world government views the fact that Luffy was able to beat Kaido. And we also have to think about the implications of the fact that in the most recent chapter of 1049, Kaido talked about the idea that he knew that the only person who could defeat him was Joy Boy. So this does make us wonder, is he going to be recognized by everyone as the pirate closest to becoming the Pirate King now? Is this going to be something where his name even rises up to a level where the world nobles will know who he is? As, you know, he might be the one, especially if the Joy Boy thing gets out, as someone who could literally bring their entire world crashing down. Well, however it works out, Luffy is going to have this title in just a fair way, because he really did earn it. Now, whether Luffy takes it or not, or that, well, that's something we're gonna have to wait and see. But by obtaining even just the title of Yonko in word, whether Luffy accepts it or not, he's gonna be recognized worldwide, and get even more fame on top of what he's already earned for all of the different actions from Alabasta on. But this title alone is not gonna get him his dream any faster. In fact, this may put a lot more roadblocks up in his way, and make it even harder to obtain the One Piece. But for now, we'd love to know what you think about it. Do you think that Luffy's gonna be named a Yonko? And do you think it's gonna make it easier or more challenging for him to get to his ultimate goal of getting the One Piece and becoming the Pirate King? Let us know what you think in the comments below. So as we wrap up this video, I want to thank you all so much for watching all the way to the very end. Make sure you comment on any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you made it this far, give us a like or maybe even subscribe before you head out to take on the rest of your day. Hope to see you all in the next video, and let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.